So what about the Bucs? The Ravens killed them.
Yeah.
The Ravens pretty much killed them until a brief surge at the end, resulting in Chris Godwin going out for the season.
Mayfield did his best Dak Prescott impersonation.
I knew he was going to say that. I told you that when we were watching the
I
game.
said that.
No.
He threw
that is the definition of the Prescott effect, as I call it.
350 yards. Adam beat me in fantasy football because Baker had 350 yards.
I beat you before I beat you in fantasy before the garbage.
No, because Derrick Henry had like 180 yards rushing there at the end. I would have caught you for Baker.
I beat you before Baker did that. I was watching it, and I was ahead the whole time, even before he did all of that.
You lost anyway.
No.
Okay, I admit there was garbage time, yes. Well, they had the possibility of coming back, though. Dak Prescott usually has no possibility of coming back. But anyway, that game was really frustrating because the Bucs came out strong. They got, go up 10-0. They really should have been up 14-0 in my opinion, but they called that hold on Tristan Wirfs, which really was lame. So
that was not the only lame hold they called.
I know, and
the Ravens had two that were just awful calls.
I just feel like they were throwing the flag a lot in that game. There was a lot of penalties, and it's just,
Did you hear the commentators?
What?
They said, when we're commentating, there's going to be a lot of flags.
Yeah, they just act like every game they do. It's like that. And I guess it's just that crew. I mean, they go back and show the replay, and Adam was like, technically by the rule, that might be a hold.
Because I went and looked at the holding rule, because that's who I am. But by the letter of the rule, I think they were all probably legit. How they typically call it, they were not good.
But that one they called on Stanley on the Ravens. Now the Ravens scored anyway on the drive, so it didn't really affect the game. But they called that one on him. He didn't grab at all. Nothing. So I don't even know what they saw. The commentators were saying they must have called the wrong number. Because
I don't remember which one.
I know the guy at all.
There was one. I don't know exactly which play come up, but I do remember there was one on the Ravens where I was like, I'm not. The same thing. I was like, I'm not sure what they saw.
Well, there was one on the Ravens too, though. That it was kind of like when you looked at it, it was like I don't know if there's anything there, but you couldn't see that back. The camera angle, you couldn't see that other hand.
There was one where it looked like he maybe
pulled on it
because he's the guy. There was one that they were talking about that like that too, but it's like he moved. The defender moved in like an unnatural way, and you couldn't see what his hand on his back was doing. So it's like maybe he grabbed the jersey and pulled, and the official that was standing behind there saw it. Maybe I don't know, but there were a lot of unnecessary flags.
The one with the early one on Tristan Wirfs, which was one that really made me mad. Is like he's Baker's passing. Wirfs is blocking him, his guy, and then Baker steps up. He steps up and throws a touchdown. And Wirfs' guy turns, I guess, to go after Baker. And he's blocking him like this. He's got textbook,
Yeah.
And as the guy turns, then, is there a little
tug, just a little bit?
But he lets go, And I'm like, that's typically something they're not going to call. Yeah, I mean, you know what I mean? Because he let him go, and it didn't affect the play at all. That guy wasn't getting the Baker had already thrown the ball.
Especially when you watch guys like T.J. Watt and Myles Garrett get mugged.
Yeah, they get
all the time.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. And that was like a big. I think that. I mean, they would have been up 14-0. I mean, they kicked the field goal. They were up 10-0, but 14 is way better. And just you take a touchdown off, crowd's pumped. It's a touchdown pass. It's just. But anyway. And the Bucs, man, they got to figure some things out. They fell apart. The defense, man. I'm getting tired of hearing people talk about how great Todd Bowles is as a defensive guru now in these games where, you let Kirk Cousins throw for 500 yards and you let the what Ravens end up with almost 600 yards total or something. Almost it was
team stats.
How in the world?
Went to bed. I was like,
total yards Ravens 508.
Okay, is what I wasn't quite saying. Okay, 500. That's ridiculous.
264 passing, 244 rushing yards.
Right. How do you give up 244
on 30 attempts? They were averaging 8 yards per rushing attempt.
It's just it's ridiculous.
I mean.
And I know Derrick Henry is awesome.
He did have an 80-yard run.
Yeah, But you know what gets me more than just that? I mean, because Henry's gonna do that. I mean, in a game, he's gonna burst off a long run. But the pass defense was just atrocious. The middle of the field's always open. Every Bucs game I've seen, and maybe their corners, I guess, probably aren't that great because it's like every pass is like not contested. The receiver's wide open. There's a big cushion.
And remember, the Ravens' best receiver got hurt. He wasn't even out there.
Yeah, and then and it's the same thing that drives. We've talked about like even Travis Kelce, George Kittle, but Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. It's like run straight out, turn around, and they're freaking wide open all the time. It's like how do you, as a defensive coordinator, that Lamar loves to throw the tight end, and you just let him be wide. How do you do that? The one time they threw a touchdown, we saw in the commentators were talking about the move Mark Andrews made, and it's like, I think a corner was guarding him, and it's like, now
he's too big.
But it wasn't him being big. He's like juked him out of his shoes, and I'm like, if you're a corner guarding a tight end, you shouldn't get juked out of your shoes by the tight end. Now, if he's got his big body in between you and the ball, and they throw it up, I get that.
Especially
you're gonna get out muscled, or you're gonna get out you're bodied, and you're getting thrown up high. Fine. But a tight end shouldn't be
especially
juking
Mark
you.
Andrews, who's like a big blocking tight end first. It's not like, Kelsey or Kittle, who's like kind of a little, has some moves. It's like, Andrews is a big guy.
I mean, he made a little move like, going in? No, I'm going out.
Don't you be dissing Mark Andrews. He can catch the ball.
He's great.
He is great,
end,
but I don't know how that happened on that one. It's like just crazy. And then, and Baker, man, he's got to protect the ball. These last 2 games,
5 picks.
These turnovers kill you. Like 3 last game that they still won because he throws 4 touchdown passes. But you play a team like the Ravens, you can't turn the ball over.
Yeah,
you can't do it once, much less twice. So
that was a solid 10-point swing that those 2 picks were. I mean that. When you're in a tight game at that point, now you're down by multiple possessions. It's hard to catch up on them too, the way they run the ball.
Yeah,
both of the picks were bad. The one in the end zone, I get that people saying Humphreys made a good play and he came off his guy and dropped, which is fine. But when you go back and look at the film, Baker had Bucky Irving to the left on like the 1-yard line. He probably could have caught and turned and went in. I don't know why he didn't throw it to him. It looked like he was looking at him. I mean, there was a defender. But he was off enough that if he would have zipped it as soon as he saw him, he could have got it to him. And I don't know why he looked him off and then was looking.
I mean, I haven't seen the film of that, but maybe he was going to try to run it because he's done that before, and then he realized he wasn't going to make it, so then he saw.
I don't know. The thing is, on that play, he had a good pocket, and the whole time he had plenty of time. He's looking, he's surveying the field, and he sees his receiver back in the corner. He's open. Humphreys drops and gets it. Yeah. But, I mean, I think he thought, man, there he is. I'm going to zip it back there. But he had plenty of time.
Down too. He could have thrown it out of the back.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like he still needs to do that. I mean, it's a Tom Brady, throw it out the end zone. Let's try 3rd down. This isn't working. Yeah. That's what he needs to learn to do. But Baker's more like Brett Favre.
Absolutely.
Brett Favre was always like, I'm fitting this in. This it doesn't look like this ball will fit in there, but by God, I think I can get it in there.
He's Brett Favre without the MVPs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, he just
not yet.
Probably not. Probably not as strong an arm as Brett, but he's
anybody have a strong an arm?
But I mean, he can throw it. He can throw it hard enough that he thinks I can get this in there. And the second one was an awful throw, and Baker's. At the post-game show interviews, he admitted, he says, I know both those are all bad. I need to protect the ball. And he said, he admitted on that second one, not much time left in the game. It's like 3rd and 16 or something. He was trying to do too much. He was trying to, he's like, I should have taken the check down. K. Dotton was that because they were playing that. They're playing the chains.
3rd and 16.
They're giving him that. They're giving him that check down. And most likely, they're going to come up and tackle him. He's not going to make that 1st down because they're good. The Ravens defense are good tacklers. So, and most teams would tackle you short of the.
Since I was a kid, they just.
But I mean, he was just trying to do too much at that point. He shouldn't have done it. But I could get. Yeah, and